Hello, thanks for joining me for today's Lunch and Learn. I'm Keith Armour, the Adult Education and Workforce Development Manager. We're down here at the library, at the main library, in the co-working space. And today we're going to talk about some more free online resources. And the three that we're going to explore are the Cincinnati Business Courier, the New York Times, and Consumer Reports, all free with your library card. Well, all right, we've arrived at our website, chpl.org. We're going to find those resources that I just mentioned right under here, under research databases, right here. And remember, research databases and online resources are just friendly websites that the library staff have really checked to make sure that their information is correct and very useful to any person who has a library card. And what's also really great is that there's no ads on any of these databases or research resources. So we're going to click right over here under magazines and newspaper articles. There's also things for kids, for teens, for lifelong learning, and by format. But this is the fastest way to get to where we're heading. We're going to click on that. And there's a whole bunch of resources, especially if you're doing any kind of research. We are the proud owners now of the Cincinnati Enquirer's photos from 1945 to 1995. A really great resource. We have articles going all the way back to 1841. We have all sorts of different things here for you to check out. But the first place that we're going to head to is the Cincinnati Business Courier. This has a lot of this has always the current issue of the Courier, but it also has the archives going all the way back to 1996. Now, if you were just going to type in Cincinnati Business Courier on your own, then you would have a limited amount of usage. You could just have so many articles that you could read. But when you go through the library, we click here. And of course, if you're outside the library, they're going to ask you to put in your library card number and your PIN. But it gives you some really great news about what's happening, especially in the business world, but also for the consumer as well. So here's some information about the Fifth Third CEO. There's some information from about the St. X president for board. There's some things about the top Indian Hill claims top 5 greater Cincinnati home sales in June. There's photos, so you can definitely check that out. But right down here, if you click right here, of course right there, if you're interested in the Bengals, you can find out a little bit more information about Mike Brown. Click right here. You can see some more business news. And there's all sorts of different things. You know, it's really great when you find out that a national retailer is going to open its first Northern Kentucky store. A lot of different information. I go to this at least once, twice a week, and it just really is helpful just to see and know what's happening in the greater Cincinnati area. So that's totally a free resource, and you are going through the library website for that one. So we're going to go back to the main page. We're going to go to research databases again. We're going to go to newspaper, magazine, and newspaper articles. We're going to scroll down, and one of my all-time favorite is Consumer Reports. Now, you'll have to have your library card, so when you click in and you're outside the library, another window will pop open, and you'll have to put in your library card number and your PIN. Now, when you first look at this, you're thinking, oh, so I'm going to have to type something in here. Maybe I'm going to type in refrigerators. You can do that, but we're talking about the latest issues. Now, if you scroll down just a little bit, you'll notice right over here, all issues and articles. So if I click this little plus by 2024, you'll notice that there's issue 1 for January, and we can go all the way here. And remember, magazines are usually produced and made available at least a month before the actual date on the magazine. So if I clicked on September 2024, that's issue 8 for this year. and it says results 28. So they've taken 28 articles that are in the magazine and they've put it there at your fingertips. Now, of course, you can go to any of our 41 locations and we have consumer reports there. We also have the back issues for you to look at as well. But this is even more convenient, where all you have to do is, maybe you want to learn about a great deal, get a great deal on a pre-owned car. You click right here to options and you click on the PDF. And here is the actual article that they have copied and giving you access to. As it loads in, there we go. Get a great deal on a pre-owned car. And you'll notice if I scroll down right here, September 2024. Now, I subscribe to Consumer Reports and I can verify this is the exact same picture, the exact same information, and it is very, very helpful. But if I wanted to send this article instead of having to photocopy it myself, I could go right up here to the very top, and right up here I could share it with people. I could print it if I wanted to. I could even add it to a project that I'm working on. Maybe I'm trying to find other articles about owning a pre-owned car. And as I scroll back, you can find other articles, a guide to yogurt, the appliances that last. That's a very good one, especially since I've been thinking about a new refrigerator. Best pillows from our tests. And once again, all you'd have to do is click here, go to PDF, and it loads in. It might take a moment, but it will load in. And there you have it. And there's the Consumer Reports rating scale. And they're going to give you really great information on the different types of pillows. And it's all free with your library card. There's the famous page that you always want to see, when it gives you a breakdown and it gives you great information right here. But once again, you could print this, and remember, printing is free at the library, so you can definitely check out that. But you can also share it as well, and you can create your own PDF, and you could download it right onto your computer so you can look at it later. Great resource. I want to thank my newest employee who pointed this out. I did not even realize this feature was here. I always thought it was right here and that I had to do some real search, but it's right there. You just have to click on that little 2024. And the next thing you have is you have the entire articles, the entire magazine for 2024. And you could go back to 2018 and you can see all of the different issues there as well. All right, we're going to go to 2 more resources because I've got one bonus. So we're going to go to research databases again. We're going to go to newspapers and magazine articles, scroll all the way down. And this is another one that will save you some money. This is the New York Times Online. And it is with your library card. It is a group pass. And you have a lot of information here. Now, I'm not going to be able to cover all of it, but it is free. It is free, and you just have to renew it every 72 hours. So if we click right here, it's going to give you the information. So creating and renewing a group pass, unlimited access for 24 hours. I apologize, it's for 24 hours. And then all you have to do is click on it again, and it will renew it for another 24 hours. And you can, it will just take you step by step on how to do that. It would save you a lot of money, and then you would have full access to the New York Times. Once again, the New York Times, like a lot of news sources, have a paywall where you only have certain access to a certain amount of free articles, and then they want you to pay. Well, with our collective buying power of the wonderful taxpayers of Cincinnati and Hamilton County, we are able, as the library, to subscribe to the library pass, and this is a group pass. So definitely check this out. This will save you a lot of money in the long run, and you'll get some really great information from their website. We're going to go to one more going to go back to the main page. We're going to go to stream and download. Since we're talking about current issues, I'm going to go right here to stream and download. And if we click on e-magazines, we have two different resources. I'm just going to cover Libby, and we're going to click on use browser. Remember, when you're on the computer, it's going to go ahead and go right to your account because I'm already logged in. But I'm going to scroll all the way down. You have to take a while to scroll down because Libby has so many great things. A lot of audio books, a lot of books that are always available. And then we get to so many magazines, over 4,500 titles. And this is really great, especially when you are traveling and you're tempted when you walk by the newsstands that are there at the airport and say, ooh, I'd like that magazine. Go back, get on their free Wi-Fi and download one of the magazines that are here. You'll find everything that you possibly want. All right, I'm going to click back. Once again, you find those resources, under research databases. Click there, and then newspapers and magazine articles. All right, let me click out and tell you something else. So you learned how to use the library subscriptions to get the latest news from the Cincinnati Business Courier, the New York Times, and the latest issue of Consumer Reports. And also don't forget about Libby, where you can get hundreds of free magazines just with your library card. I'll see you next time for another Lunch and Learn.